I'm impressed by the fact that this is a conference on innovations on such a concrete thing as concrete. It's a very focused way of discussing the issue. As we all know, concrete has took its shape. But when people ceased to be nomadic tribes and became settled communities, they needed shelter. Shelter from hostile elements of nature, like heavy rain which we have witnessed in the last few days, winter, heat, and so on. So, right from the ancient Indian, Egyptian to the current days, concrete has played a very critical role. But thanks to the industrial revolution that occurred about 200 years ago in the modern world, this use has gone up many times because the wealth has gone up many times, population has gone up many times, urbanization has gone up many times, and the need for concrete is all the greater in developing countries than in developed countries. Construction in developed countries could be said to have reached a certain point beyond which increase may not be that necessary. But in developing countries, the need for concrete, which is at the bottom of all infrastructure, is all the more severe. In India, the urbanization has reached about 30%. We are quite impressed by the fact that urbanization is high. I don't think it's high at all. It's among the lowest in the world. And that's not a fact to be proud of. We have been a rural society. The world also has been a rural society historically. So in modern times, the transition from rural society to urban communities is inevitable, desirable, and should be managed. And now, the growth is not only taking place in urban areas, it's also taking place in rural areas. When National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme was announced, eminent economists in India and across the world thought it was a populist scheme, to put in fiscal terms, a profligate scheme. Can you believe that the Economist of London, which is an authoritative conservative weekly from London, recently reported the income of India is not fully reported because income generated by NREGA in rural areas has not been properly estimated. The economist said the GDP must have gone up 2 times, by at least 2%, which has not been taken into account at all. So the demand for concrete, even in the villages, is huge. If you have gone to villages, even by way of a chance visit, you would have noticed that there is not a single house built in a village without modern concrete mixture. It's just not possible. Even if a poor man is building only 2 rooms, you would like to have a concrete slab, because at the end of the day, you would like to have proper protection. In case of flood, if you couldn't do anything else, even if the ground floor is submerged, you would climb onto the rooftop and survive that challenge. So the requirements in the rural areas should not be underestimated. We are all the time talking of increasing requirements in urban areas. The difference in the rural scene in the last 10 years has not been noticed. As somebody who has been contesting elections for 45 years, and each time from rural areas, though I became Minister for Urban Development for 5 years, I know the changes that have taken place in the last 10 years.